'cause I'm a fool for your love.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to be doing a full face of Colourpop cosmetics. Well, almost a full face. I don't have every single thing Colourpop, but I would say like 90% of the products I use were Colourpop. I just didn't have like Colourpop mascara, Colourpop bronzer, and just like a few other things. But for the most part, everything's Colourpop. The eyeshadow's Colourpop, the eyeliner, the foundation, the concealer, the powder, pretty much everything. So I placed an order on Colourpop last week, 2 weeks ago, and I finally got it, and I love Colourpop. I've been a fan of theirs since they basically started, and I really love their products, especially for the price point. You just can't beat the quality for the price point. It's great. They have great eyeshadows, great, that's kind of what they started with, was eyeshadows. They have great complexion products. They have brushes now. They pretty much have everything. But I love their eyeshadows, and I actually use a lot of their single shadows in my freelance kit, and some of my most used eyeshadows are by Colourpop in my freelance kit. But I've never tried any palettes by them, so I wanted to try this California Love palette because I've seen a lot of influencers posting about it on their story, and I had to get it because it just looks so pretty. So this is what the palette looks like. It's so beautiful. They have a bunch of shimmer shades, a pressed glitter, which I'm going to show you actually what that looks like because it's gorgeous. So yeah, this palette I definitely see myself using a lot this summer, and I am so impressed by the pigmentation of these shadows. It's really good. And then I decided to get this palette as well. I do not know the name of this palette. It actually, when it's sent to you, it's sent as an empty palette. So like this came empty, and then all the eyeshadows are individually packaged, and you put them in yourself. So it's a magnetic palette where you put all the shadows in yourself. So yeah, it's a magnetic palette where you put all the shadows in yourself, but they sell like the set online. So this one is super pretty. It comes with a bunch of matte shades, some pressed glitters, which I'm obsessed with, and some beautiful shimmers. So those are the two palettes that I got, and like I said, I'm obsessed with them both. They both are so beautiful, and yes. So if you want to see me use a bunch of Colourpop products and see how I got this look, then definitely keep on watching. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Colourpop foundation. I haven't used this foundation in a minute. It's been a while, but this foundation is okay. It's definitely not my favorite, but since we're sticking with a Colourpop theme today, figured why not use it, and I have it, so why not. So this is in medium 110. I'm hoping it's not too light for me, but we'll see. So I'm just going in with the foundation on a foundation brush, and then I'll go in and blend it in with a beauty blender. And by the way, I do have my brows on. I did use a Colourpop brow pencil, which I really do like. I've tried these brow pencils many times. I've probably gone through like 3 of them. I use the shade Bang & Brunette. The one thing I don't like about these brow pencils is that sometimes they're a little bit too creamy, and when a brow pencil is too creamy, I feel like you have a little less control. It kind of glides all over the place. So my trick for making this go on and actually staying in place is using an eyeshadow primer. So I use an eyeshadow primer on top of my eyebrows. I just use a clear eyeshadow primer, and then I set it with a little bit of translucent powder, and then when I go in with the brow pencil, it's still very creamy, but I feel like I have a little bit more control and it's not gliding all over the place. Plus my eyebrows stay all day with the eyeshadow primer, so definitely recommend that little tip if you find these are too creamy. Anyways, now I'm gonna blend this in because it's been like sitting on my skin. By the way, that is in shade medium 110. I don't know if I mentioned that.
If you saw my love, you'd love him too.
I'm just gonna apply a little bit extra on this pimple that is coming up. Really weird, but I always break out my chin. I guess it's hormones. But I will get a pimple there and then it will go away and then it comes back a week later. It literally like will start to heal and then out of nowhere it just pops back up again in the same spot. It's really weird. I don't know why that happens, but does that happen to any of you guys? Because it happens to me all the time. And what's really weird is I feel it coming. Like before, I was totally fine. My skin was clear. This was healing. And then all of a sudden I'll feel like a little zap in my skin. Like it's like a sharp little pain in the area of the pimple. And I know immediately that means that the pimple's coming back. And within the last hour, this has already like got bigger and redder, and yeah, not happy about that. So now I'm going to go in with the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. I actually really like this concealer, and for a while last year I was only using this concealer, but since then I've tried so many different concealers, so I haven't used this one in a while, but it definitely is one of my favorite like inexpensive brand concealers because I feel like it has great coverage. The finish of it is really nice. I'm going to be using shade Light 18. I know they changed the shade names, but I'm pretty sure Light 18 is still one of the shades. I am going to highlight my face with this concealer as well, just because, why not? So I am highlighting with it. I'm also going to highlight right here and right here. Okay, once again, I'm just going to take my beauty blender and just blend this all out. By the way, a little update on the Juvia's Place foundation, because I did a video on that last week and I told you guys I would update you. I have worn it a couple times since and I do like it, but I don't feel like it lasts as long as my like L'Oreal one. It looks good, but over time I did get pretty oily because I did wear it for a long time one day. It was also pretty humid and hot. So yeah, my thoughts really haven't changed much since the video. It's good, it's just not my favorite, but I'm still going to continue to try it and I'll let you guys know if my mind changes or anything like that. So moving on to setting, I'm going to be using the Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder. This is in Translucent. So this is another product that I've used many times. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take a little bit on a little brush like this. I'm going to make sure I pat out any creasing. And I'm just going to lightly set underneath my eyes. But then we're also going to bake as well. I just want to kind of get some powder under there initially to absorb any of the excess moisture, and then I'll go in with excess powder to bake. I find doing it this way, it looks a little bit more natural because the first light layer of powder will kind of do the setting for you, and then this is just going to really lock everything in. So I'm just going to apply that pretty heavily underneath my eye. I don't have a Colourpop bronzer. I know they have them. I've never tried them before. So if you've ever tried any Colourpop bronzing products, let me know in the comments down below. I'm curious if they're any good. But I'm just going to use my MAC Give Me Sun bronzer. But yeah, obviously if you have a Colourpop bronzer, you could use that if you wanted to try out this look. But I don't, so we're going to improvise. I do have a Colourpop blush in the shade Get Laid, and it's basically just like a coral shade. So I am going to use this. I think I'm going to use this Jaclyn Hill JH06 brush. I wonder if it will work well with this formula. If you ever use the blushes from Colourpop, a lot of them are like kind of like a cream base, so they're a little different. They're not really powdery. So I'm just applying this on the apples of my cheeks. So now I'm just going to dust away this baking powder. And whenever you're dusting away excess powder, be sure to use a very loose brush, nothing too dense, because it may come off a little bit weird if you use something dense. So you want to use something with like a lighter pressure. So for highlighter, I'm going to be using this shade by Colourpop. It's their Super Shock Cheek Pearlized Highlighter in Lunch Money. So it's basically just like a really light, kind of like champagne color. This is also very, very creamy. It's kind of like a cream highlighter. Since this highlighter is really light, like it's a very light like vanilla shade, it's kind of a little bit too light for me, for my taste. So I am going to go in with an Anastasia highlighter in Dripping in Gold, I believe it's called. But I mean, you don't have to do this. I just like more of a gold tone highlight, so I'm just going to apply that on top. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and do one of my eyes because I have no idea what I want to do, and before I go ahead and film, I want to make sure I have somewhat of a game plan. So I'm going to play around with these eyeshadows and then come back and we'll do the other eye together. Alright guys, so I went ahead and did this eye. I am absolutely loving the way it came out. It is so cool. These pressed glitters by Colourpop are amazing. I will for sure be ordering more. They're just really, really cool, and they're really easy to use. Like, you could just put them on with your finger, and I thought like they'd be kind of messy, but they actually stick pretty well. So I'm excited. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to this eye. I am gonna be using the P. Louise eyeshadow primer. You could totally use the Colourpop concealer if you want. I've used that as a base many, many times, but I lately have been using the P. Louise base, so I just kind of want to stick with the eyeshadow base that I've been using just because I know it works for me. So yeah, but you could totally use the concealer. I use that sometimes as a base for my clients. So yeah, but I'm just going to apply the Rumor 2, I believe it is, eyeshadow base. Just applying that all over the eye, just patting it into my skin. Alright, so once you have the eyeshadow base on and pat into the skin, I'm going to go in with this palette by Colourpop. This palette is so beautiful. I'm going to be going in with this shade right here. It's a really beautiful, like, warm, medium tone brown. So I'm going to load up my brush with some product, and I'm going to take a little like dome dense brush, and I'm just going to start patting this into my crease. Outside. And I'm bringing this color all the way into the inner corner as well, since we are doing a halo smoky eye. And then I'm just gonna, once I've kind of done like the patting motion and I've gotten the product deposited onto my eye, I'm just going to kind of do little circular motions just to start working that product around, just to start working that eyeshadow around and blending out the edges. So now I'm just going to take this color here in the California Love palette. The shade is called Laguna, and I'm going to use this shade to blend out the brown that we have down. So I'm just going to kind of pat this on the outer edges of that brown and just start working that in. That color on, I'm just going to go in with this shade right here, and then once I have that color on, I'm just going to go in with this shade right here, which is like a lighter warm like orangey brown, and I'm just going to use this to blend out even further. So now we're going to deepen this look up a little bit, and I'm just going to take this really pretty like dark chocolatey brown from, again, this palette right here. I will say all of these shadows are so pigmented and nice. I'm like obsessed. And I'm just going to pat this on the inner corner as well as the outer corner, and then go ahead and connect the two in the middle. Then I would suggest going back in. I'm just going to go back in with this brush, not adding any product, and I'm just going to blend above the dark brown. Just going in with a big fluffy brush and no product. I'm just going to go ahead and blend everything out. Then I'm going to take this eyeshadow right here, and I'm going to put this underneath my brow bone, and I am using the Colourpop E3 brush. This is one of my favorite brushes for concealing the brows, packing on eyeshadow, carving out the crease. I have two of them. I really, really like this brush. Alright, so now I'm just going to take a little bit of the P. Louise eyeshadow base again, and I'm going to apply a tiny bit on the center of my lid where we're going to be applying that shimmery shadow. In the center of the eye, patting that eyeshadow base on, because if you just go in with the shimmer, I mean, of course you could, but I feel like it won't have as much of an impact, so I like to put down a base first. And now I'm going in with this Anastasia Beverly Hills 18 brush. This is a great concealer brush as well. It's also great for packing on eyeshadow. I'm going to be taking the California Love palette. I'm going to take this color here in Cruisin'. This shade is really, really pretty. It reminds me of Melon Pigment by MAC, but in a pressed version. It's very similar. So it's really, really pretty, and I'm going to apply that on the center of my eye. Then I'm just going to take the first brown shade that we used, and I'm going to just apply that on the outer edges of that shade that we just applied, just so there's kind of like a transition between the dark and then the shimmer. I feel like this is one of those steps that really takes a halo smoky eye to the next level, and looks like you spent so much time blending, but in reality all you're doing is adding a shade between the dark shade and the shimmer shade. But I just feel like it really makes a difference in a halo smoky eye. And then I'm just going to take the dark brown that we used, and I'm going to reapply that on the inner and outer corner, just to make sure that I didn't get blended away with all this blending. Just want to make sure that that area stays like dark. Okay, so now for the fun part. These pressed glitters are so beautiful, and I want to order every pressed glitter that they have because they're really cool. Like, I thought that they're going to be really messy, but you just kind of press them on with your finger, and it honestly works really well. So I'm just going to take this color right here. It's a really beautiful color. I'm going to show you on my finger what it looks like. And I'm just going to apply this on the center of my lid where we put that shimmer shade. So just directly on top. And I just kind of pat it on. And it just immediately transfers onto my eye. Like, I thought it was going to like stay on my finger. I don't know why, but it immediately goes to my eye. So it's so pretty. Like, I hope you guys can really tell on camera how pretty this is, because in person it is stunning. It has like an orange shift to it. I'm sure also it depends on what's underneath the glitter to give it like a different color. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the lower lash line. So I'm going to be using the Colourpop Cream Gel Eyeliner. This is in the shade Mr. Bing. It's basically just like a dark warm brown. And I'm going to apply that to my waterline. And then I'm going to be taking like a bronze color, which is also a cream gel liner in Overboard. And with this color, I'm going to apply it on the like lash line, not the waterline. So now I'm just going to take the dark brown shadow that we've been using throughout the whole tutorial, and I'm going to press that on the lower lash line. Then I'm going to take the first shade that we used for this look, and I'm going to use that to kind of blend out the dark brown. Corner, I'm going to take that same pressed glitter that we used, and I'm actually going to take it on a little I'm actually going to take it on this little brush instead of my finger because I can't really get in the inner corner with my finger since I have long nails. I'm just going to apply it on the inner corner. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and apply some falsies. I don't think Colourpop has false lashes. I don't think, but if they don't, they should come out with them. So I'm going to apply some false lashes and I'll be back to finish up the lips. Alright, so I'm back. My eyes are finished and I think they look so pretty. I absolutely love those palettes. They are definitely an A+. So for lips, I'm going to use the lippie pencil in... What is the shade? I don't know. Isn't it like 951 or something like that? I don't know. It must have got rubbed off, but it's from the I Love Satin collection with Colourpop. It's a really good liner. So I'm just going to apply this on my lips. I love Colourpop lip liners. They're so creamy and easy to use. And they have so many shades to choose from. Then for the lipstick, I'm going to use the Ultra Satin Lip in Magic Wand, which is a nude color. And this is like a mini little Ultra Satin Lip. I got it in like a set. I really like their Ultra Satin lips because they're matte, but they're really comfortable. Instead of a ultra matte lip, those ones are just too drying for me. I have a bunch of them. I just don't like matte liquid lipsticks, so yeah. And then for gloss, I'm going to apply the Colourpop gloss in Bestie. Alright guys, so that is it for today's look. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and I will see you in my next video. Bye!
I'm a fool for your love.